But first of all, I want to talk about pig biology, as some of you may not be familiar with this animal in detail. As you may know, these domestic animals used for pig and pork production descend from the wild boar, and wild boar is spread all over Europe. In many countries, uh, they are targeted in hunting, and in the last few years, this population becomes more and more important in terms of diseases such as African swine fevers, because these animals are the reservoir for these viruses, and these viruses can create huge damage on the pig production all over the world. And therefore, we have to protect our domestic pigs from contact with wild boar. When we have a look on their skeleton, then we have very many similarity to human, except the fact that they are walking on 4 legs, and we do in 2 legs. Another difference is this massive snoot, which is one of the central organs of the pigs and characterizing the pigs. And another aspect is that they are ungulates, and they are walking on their second and third main digit, and the first and the fourth is an accessory digit, and the fifth is not there anymore. We have to know that they are omnivore and monogastric, so they are not able to digest feed as grassland or grass and hay. So they have to be fed with mainly crops, maize, soya beans, and nowadays in Europe it is forbidden to feed them with meal from meat or bones because of mad cow disease problem. But I will not go in detail in this aspect. As I already mentioned, the snoot is a very central organ, and the contact to the environment and to conspecifics. It consists of a very hard part at the bottom, at the top of the snoot, which is underlaid with a bone. On the other hand, in the center of the snoot, there's a very tactile area, which can be compared to the center of our hand in terms of sensitivity. And on the other hand, the pig is smelling with his snoot, and also eating and chewing. And as humans have contact to each other with hand, pigs do it with their snoot. So it's a very multifactorial organ. And you can imagine, if evolution came out with this kind of organ, then it can be expected that there is an underlying behavior that this snoot has to be used adequately by the animals. Otherwise, it will be frustrated, and problems can arise. This graph indicates how the visual sense of the pigs work. and their flight zone is organized. So you have a cycle around the pig with this distance, that indicates if you enter this cycle of a pig, then you have to be aware that the pig will flee or it will attack you. And this can be used to drive animals, to force them to move from A to B, from pen to pen, for instance. And the next point is very important. Pigs are not able to see as human. We are capable of having a visual sense which allows us to to calculate distances, because our eyes are located in front of our head, and we have two eyes, and the visual sense overlaps between the two eyes, and therefore we are capable to calculate distances. This is different, and our visual sense ends here. So 180 degrees of visual sense, more or less. For pigs, it's different. They don't have a very fine stereotypic visual sense, but they see everything except of around 30 degrees in their back. So they are very capable to realize what has happened around them. This is important for also for manipulating these animals. Yes, and there are some underlying hormone things, such as you may know that male pigs are castrated routinely, and this is because they produce some hormones that are stored in the fat tissue, and this can create bad smell and bad taste if cooked. And therefore, male pigs are castrated in most countries all over the world routinely. But pigs are also very clever. This picture indicates a French farmer who has a pig, who uses a pig to search for, I have no clue, what is the name for these fungi that are very truffles. Yes, sorry, thank you, for truffles. And the pig is trained to search for truffles in the ground, and it is it is trained in that way, and it is so clever that it doesn't eat the truffle and spend it to the farmer who can sell it. So indicates pigs can be trained in different tasks, and they are very clever, especially in finding things and remembering locations where it is located. This picture indicates another character of these animals. They are very fertile. They give birth to up to 20 piglets in 1 litter and suckle them, and at the end, in certain countries, one sow produces 30 piglets or more a year, which gives potential to produce 3 tons of meat. Just one pig. And at the end, I come to the main point from our discipline, from my discipline. This is behavior. And we have to know that pigs live in stable groups, maternal groups of 4 to 6 female sows with their offspring. Within the group, there is a dominance hierarchy. They rest together, so you need some uh, room during night where they can rest together. They spend most of their active time for foraging, 80% of the day, and they are very clean animals, which distinct between lying and dunging area. So they define a place where they are lying, and apart from that, in a distance from that, they defecate, urinate. And one specific of pigs is also that they thermoregulate by swallowing and huddling, so they don't have the ability to sweep. Okay, are there any questions? Or I don't think that I can hear you, isn't it? Yeah.
No.
So, yeah.
You can continue.
Okay. Then I will continue. The next aspect is pigs are used in commercial meat production to produce huge amount of pork. For instance, in Germany, 50 million pigs a year are slaughtered and consumed. And in Austria, on average, each Austrian consume about 33 kilogram of pork, each of us. And therefore, you can imagine there is an industry in the background which is very specific and which is well organized to produce this outcome. In Austria, we have 4.5 to 5 million pigs slaughtered a year. This graph indicates how this production works. In the center, there is a sow, and the sow has a reproduction cycle which begins here with artificial insemination at about 8 months. They are inseminated artificially, then the gestation period follows, which lasts about 115 days. So 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, you can remember. Then they give birth to the piglets, to the litter, which is 15 to 20 piglets per litter, which the litter is suckled. The lactation periods on average last for about 4 weeks. And then the piglets are separated from the sows, which is called weaning. And after weaning, it takes some time, about 1 week, that the sow comes in heat again, so can be mated and inseminated again, and then the cycle starts again. And this period in total lasts for 150 days in total. So one sow can give birth to 2.2 liters on average. And each litter consists of 10 to 20 piglets. So at the end, you will have 25 to 35 piglets a year from each sow. And the piglets, which are weaned at the age of 4 weeks, then go to the grower section, where they are fed from 8 to 30 kilogram. And then they go to the fattening unit, where they are brought to 120 kilogram. And then they are slaughtered with an age of half a year, with 120 kilogram of live weight. So, and this is the basis for the whole production. So, and our farms try to organize the sow herd in different groups. This is one group of sow. Here you have, I have to have a look, birth, then 4 weeks of lactation period, then weaning, then re-insemination, gestation period, and again give birth, lactation, insemination again, and so on and so on. And each sow give birth to about 4 to 6 liters in her lifespan. And the next group is organized in that way that it is inseminated or give birth 3 weeks later. And the third group's again 3 weeks later. So you have an outcome of piglets every 3 weeks that can be weaned and at the end can be fattened 220 kilogram. This is the management in a so-called 3-week cycle. And then you have farms that are organized in the way that they are combined. They have sows, they produce piglets, and they do the fattening to the end, combined farms. So piglet production, grower unit, so weaning and growing the animals and fatten them. And then there are more specialized farms which do, for instance, piglet production, wean them and bring them to 30 kilogram and then sell them to a fattening farm where they are fattened. And there are also farms that only produce weaner piglets that are brought to a specific farm where they are grown to 30 kilogram, and then they are brought to a farm where they are fattened and finished. Within the farm, it is very important to have a clear concept how the steps of production are arranged and how hygiene can be ensured. Because you can imagine if you produce, you have a fattening farm or a piglet producing farm of 1,000 sows or 10,000 fattening places, then you have to ensure that biosecurity is on a high level, and to make sure that no pathogens are brought into your production unit. And you have to organize how feed comes into your unit and how feces and slurry is replaced from the unit, and how your animals are transported to the next unit or to the slaughterhouse. So this is the organization between within a farm. And between farms, there are different ways of collaboration. On the one hand, there are farms which are combined. That means, as here indicated here, they have sows producing piglets, and then they finish it to 120 kilogram, which is indicated by this symbol. Then there are farms just producing piglets, maybe up to 30 kilogram, and then transferred to a certain fattening farm. But then when you see it on the industry level, then you will have a lot of farms producing piglets, maybe 3 farms producing piglets for 1 fattening farm. Or you have a big farm that produces piglets and spread piglets to different fattening farms. And what we have in Austria is a situation where we have a huge number of piglet producing units that bring in They are piglets in a market where they are distributed to different farms. So there's no direct connection between the farrowing unit and the fattening unit. This just gives you an indication how complicated the environment is in which animals, pigs, have to be monitored automatically, for instance, and where you have to place your technology and what you have to consider when you use technologies. And there are different demands dependent on where you are observing these animals. I think this is clear for you what how precision livestock farming term is defined. Is the use of sensors and analysis of data with automated systems that allows to monitor continuously the animals in real time with the goal to optimize production as a that means economy, but also health and welfare of the animals, and to have a